I'm going to talk about a book that was a real surprise to me. This book is called The Book Thief. Now, one of my jobs at the library is to order copies of teen books, and I'm usually pretty good at guessing how many we're going to need. But I ordered one copy of this book, even though it got great reviews, and suddenly I had 10 holds on it. The book is called The Book Thief by Markus Zusak, and it's probably one of the most unusual books for teens that I think I've ever read. Why would someone who can't read want to steal books? Well, the narrator of The Book Thief is none other than Death, the Grim Reaper himself, and he is trying to puzzle out the actions of a book thief. The book thief happens to be a young girl who totally fascinates him. This is an entanglement that normally he would avoid. Liesl Memminger, who is the book thief, is a young girl who has lost everything. It's 1939 in Nazi Germany, and her mother and communist father have been swallowed up into one of the ubiquitous concentration camps that are starting to dot Germany. So Liesl and her younger brother are sent as foster children to live in Munich with the Huberman family. Tragedy strikes Liesl even as her train is reaching its destination. There's an accident on the train and her younger brother is killed. When Liesl attends his funeral, afterwards they go to the cemetery for her young brother's interment, and she notices that the grave digger drops a book into the snow. Quite surreptitiously, Liesl picks the book up and steals it, and her career as a book thief is born. The odd thing, though, is that Liesl can't read. She may be 10 years old at the time, but she's just unable to read what other people can read easily. Soon, though, she is stealing books from everywhere. She's retrieving books from Nazi book burnings and stealing them from the mayor's wife's house when she goes to pick up her laundry. She steals books wherever she can find them. With the help of her accordion-playing foster father, Hans Huberman, Liesl learns to read, and she shares her stolen books with everyone. Even when there's a bomb scare and everyone has to go to the bomb shelter, Liesl reads to people. Not only this, but she has a secret. She also shares the books and the stories with the Jewish man who happens to be hidden away in the Huberman's basement. So Death tells her story. Death tells the story of the book thief, and Death is never far away from any of the happenings on Himmel Street. Read The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. Again, another one of my favorite books. So Yesterday by Scott Westerfeld. Imagine getting paid for spotting what's cool ahead of time. Think about it. Who was the first person to wear way too big pants on purpose? Who was the mythical person who wore his or her baseball cap backwards for the first time? In the world of So Yesterday, these people are the innovators, the people at the top of the cool pyramid. The main character in this book, Hunter Brock, is a trend spotter. It is actually Hunter's job to find the newest, coolest things for the retail market before anybody else knows that it's even cool. His usual MO on the job is this: he observes everything around him, but he doesn't get involved. And then he meets Jen James, and all of his rules go right out the window. He knows that she is cool from the first time that he sees her, and he's attracted to her in a big way. He tries to handle his attraction to her by pretending that his encountering her is business as usual. So he invites her to one of his corporation's focus groups. Jen comes with Hunter to a mysterious meeting with Hunter's boss, Mandy. When they get to the building where the meeting is supposed to be held, Mandy's cell phone is the only thing there. And there is, in fact, nothing of Mandy around. So Jen drags Hunter along on a chase to try and track Mandy down. A missing cargo of the coolest shoes they've ever seen and ads for products that don't even exist lead them to discover traces of a shadowy group that is dedicated to the overthrow of cool, as Hunter society knows it. This book comes from the UK. It's called Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. Think Romeo and Juliet in an alternate reality. Then think of Romeo and Juliet as victims of their society, a society where the wealthy class, represented by Juliet, survives by ignoring the rights of the underclasses, represented by Romeo. Last, throw some racial tension in the mix. Romeo the despised is white, and Juliet the privileged is black. Then you have the basic elements for some societal dynamite. All it needs is for Romeo and Juliet to fall in love and set it off. Persephone Hadley is the daughter of a racist politician, and she's very excited by the idea that her best friend Colum is about to go to school with her. Now, Sephi, as she is called, is too young and too privileged to truly understand that friendship in this segregated society with Callum, who is the son of her mother's former maid, is never going to work. You see, in this alternate world, conditions for the pale-skinned Noughts have improved little since the days of their slavery. Crosses have all the money and the power, and Callum is caught up in the hostility that occurs when the school tries to segregate or integrate itself, and Sephi makes matters even worse for both of them by trying to be a public friend to him. In this world, though, the second-class citizens aren't content to continue to be treated as victims. Callum's older brother, Jude, has been denied the opportunities for schooling, and so he joins the Liberation Army, and he helps to set off a bomb to demonstrate their power at a local mall. The violence escalates even more when Callum's father joins the movement too. Well, unfortunately, Callum and Sephi begin to drift apart, but their love seems to remain strong. But can it survive the violence that comes at them from both sides? Noughts and Crosses by Marjorie Blackman.